Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris PG, 115 minutes verdict, a half-risen soufflé rating, Smile 18, 115 minutes verdict, horror with teeth rating. On paper, the story of Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris is an absolute charmer. Indeed, it started out on paper, as a 1958 novel by the American writer Paul Gallico, entitled Flowers for Mrs. Harris. On screen, however, it charms only intermittently, Leslie Manville notwithstanding. She is a delight in the title role, and anyone who saw the captivating Paul Thomas Anderson film Phantom Thread, 2017, will marvel anew at her versatility. That picture was about haute couture in the 1950s, and so is this one, but in Phantom Thread Manville's character was at the center of that rarefied world looking out. Here, as widow Ada Harris, a domestic cleaner, what used to be called the charwoman, she is on the outside looking in. First, Ada falls in love with a £500 Christian Dior dress. Then, she resolves to scrimp, save and even gamble until she can afford one. A series of unexpected and highly contrived windfalls later, she catches a flight to Paris and makes her uncertain way to the House of Dior, although even with a fistful of cash she is treated snootily by the starchy directrice, Madame Colbert, played in only one dimension by Isabelle Huppert. Several of the supporting characters threaten to pull this film apart at the seams, a weakness not of the acting but of the writing and direction. It is a great shame. Even in a fairy tale, which is really what director and co-writer Anthony Fabian is giving us, background characters need to feel like flesh and blood. But at least a couple of others, notably the imperious Lady Dant, Anna Chancellor, and aspiring actress Pamela Penrose, Rose Williams, are little more than cardboard cutouts, propped up by the plot. Still, we'll always have Paris, not to mention Mrs. Harris, who sets out from her Battersea basement every day to clean the homes of the wealthy. Lady Dant has a new Dior frock, when I put it on, nothing else matters, she declares, and Ada fancies some of the same. But how, in 1957 London, can she get her nimble, industrious but ineffably working-class hands on £500? Her pals, West Indian cleaner Vi, Ellen Thomas, and twinkly Ulsterman bookie, Jason Isaacs, think she's barmy. Nevertheless, those fairy tale contrivances make her dream come true, and off she goes, dazzling the City of Light itself with her sweet affability and funny English sayings. Soon, she is charming the silk socks off an urbane aristocrat, Lambert Wilson, and acting as matchmaker to lovely model Natasha, Alba Bautista, and dishy accountant, Andre, Lucas Bravo, from the Netflix hit Emily in Paris. She even helps to rescue Dyer's ailing financial fortunes, and along the way proves herself a dab hand both at needlework and cooking, rustling up, almost inevitably, Toad in the O, translated by her new Parisian friends as Frog in the Ditch. I seem to recall from decades ago that not even the mighty John Thaw could overcome that kind of overripe camembert cheesiness in the TV adaptation of A Year in Provence. But somehow or other, Manville pulls it off. Incidentally, had the film been made at the time in which it is set, the cityscape would have been irresistible, the picture might have had a Roman holiday quality. As it is, modern-day Budapest stands in a little clumsily for 1950s Paris and, perhaps to compensate, Fabian dishes up period clichés like a heavy-handed waiter in a Montmartre brasserie, Jean-Paul Sartre, check. Edith Piaf, check. Really, it is a half-risen soufflé of a film. But its classy leading lady gives it substance. And, I should add, veteran English costume designer Jenny Beavan, already with 3 Oscars under her belt, has a ball. Horror movie devotees will have one, too, when they go to see The Excellent Smile. The simple human smile, like its evil cousin the maniacal grin, has an honorable place in the horror genre. Parker Finn, making an auspicious directing debut, deploys it very skillfully as a hospital psychotherapist. Rose, Sosie Bacon, becomes terrorized by the image of a female patient, Laura, Caitlin Stacey, who died horribly in front of her wearing a rictus smile. The inevitable jump scares are deftly executed throughout, but what is especially clever about this film, which is also written by Finn, is the considered way it deals with mental health. Rose is already haunted by her mother's suicide years earlier, and without being as good, Smile owes a conspicuous debt to Ari Aster's masterly Hereditary, 2018. You can't always run from something that runs in the family. For more reviews see Daily Mail. Co.uk also showing Girls 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 15, 100 minutes rating, the greatest beer run ever 12A, 126 minutes rating, give or take a few punctuation marks. Girls 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 was both a 1962 Elvis Presley film and a 1987 album by the American heavy metal band Motley Crue. But with due respect to fans of both Elvis and heavy metal, the best incarnation of the title might well be an engaging new Finnish drama about friendship, love and sex. Girls 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 is very appealingly done. The story follows 3 girls in their late teens. Mimi, Amu Milanov, and Ronko, Eleonora Konen, are best friends who work together at a Helsinki juice bar. Mimi is gay, and falls for a third girl, Emma, Linnea Leino, who is a figure skater good enough to compete in the forthcoming European Championships. But her skating prospects take a knock once she and Mimi start dating. Meanwhile, the firmly heterosexual Ronko is fretting about sex with boys, and wondering why it doesn't seem to satisfy her. All this is wrapped up with the friends' relationships with their mothers, and although it's standard coming-of-age fare, it's extremely well acted, very wittily and credibly written, and nicely directed by Ali Hapasalo. A treat from start to, well, finish. The Greatest Beer Run Ever is inspired by the true story of a merchant mariner from New York who, during the Vietnam War, decided to take a bag full of beer to his pals serving in the forces out there, as a show of solidarity. It's pretty corny but bowls along watchably enough. A better cast than the film deserves is led by Zac Efron, with small supporting roles for Russell Crowe and Bill Murray. Girls 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 is in cinemas. The Greatest Beer Run Ever is on Apple TV Plus. Night Night, Nurse Ratched, you brilliant baddie. Louise Fletcher died this week, aged 88. She was never a household name, yet she won a richly deserved Academy Award for her unforgettable performance as Nurse Ratched, the flint-hearted matron in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, 1975. For my money, Mildred Ratched is one of the greatest screen baddies, and Fletcher's death has inspired me to list my top 10. Here they are in reverse order. .10. Jack Wilson, Shane, 1953. Westerns have yielded some of the most memorable screen baddies, and I can't think of a more forbidding one than Jack Palance's ruthless gunslinger in George Stevens' masterful Shane. 9. Bill Sikes, Oliver, 1968. I should think most people, in listing their scariest screen villains, turn to their childhoods. My own kids would pick Voldemort, every time. But I found Oliver Reed's murderous bully more menacing than almost anyone. 8. Hans Landa, Inglourious Basterds, 2009. There aren't many more chilling opening scenes in cinematic history than the one that starts Quentin Tarantino's revisionist war film, nor more chilling fiends than Christoph Waltz's urbane SS officer. 7. The Wicked Witch of the West, The Wizard of Oz, 1939. In real life, actress Margaret Hamilton was a Sunday school teacher, yet her most famous character cast a terrifying shadow over my own boyhood. 6. Shere Khan, The Jungle Book, 1967. My children also tell me they'd pick Sid from Toy Story. But no animated baddie has ever captured my own imagination like this merciless Bengal tiger, gloriously voiced by George Sanders. 5. Hannibal Lecter, The Silence of the Lambs, 1991. Anthony Hopkins has accomplished so much in the cinema that it's almost unfair for this to be considered his career-defining performance. But has any fictional character ever been more petrifying? 4. Nurse Ratched, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, 1975. I rewatched this a few nights ago, in honor of Louise Fletcher. She's sensational, the more so because she makes vindictive, controlling Mildred seem so human. 3. Anton Chigurh, No Country for Old Men, 2007. Javier Bardem was arguably the best Bond villain I've ever seen, in Skyfall, 2012. But I'm not sure anyone will ever play a dead-eyed assassin better than he did in this classic thriller from the Coen brothers. 2. The Child Catcher, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, 1968. Robert Helpman was a great choreographer and brought joy to many, but I bet he scared the wits out of even more, as surely the most sinister, spine-chilling character ever to feature in a children's film. 1. Norman Bates, Psycho, 1960. For my money, the creepiest screen baddie of them all, superbly played by Anthony Perkins in Hitchcock's masterpiece. Never mind Darth Vader and all the fantasy film villains. This felt like the real thing.